Buff Nation, how about this? Shedeur Sanders starting on Friday night against Jimmy Horn and the Carolina Panthers in week one of the NFL preseason for the Cleveland Browns. Can you believe it? You know, you had like six quarterbacks. They signed Tyler Huntley, but it's all working out to see him get an opportunity to start. Man, I don't care if he's only had like 1 or 2 or 3 days working with the ones. Does not matter at all. We know that Shador is built for this moment. So in today's video, I'm going to break down what did the quarterbacks out of last year's class in 2024, how did they perform in their first preseason start? And I'll take a stab at it and predict Shador's stat line. Of course, you guys throw that in the comments, and let's go ahead and get this started. Like and subscribe as always, and let's get into it. So I created this little chart. At first, I asked ChatGPT, and it got all the stats wrong. So good thing I double checked. But you can see for these quarterbacks, most of these were week one. I think Spencer Rattler got his first playing time in week two. But overall, this was the first game for all of these rookie quarterbacks, but pretty much being week one. And you can see there wasn't a lot of action for guys like Caleb Williams, Jane Daniels, Drake May. Not at all. Now, they were efficient, but didn't get much playing time. You saw that increase throughout preseason, but you saw Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, and Spencer Rattler all get multiple quarters with their team in their first preseason game action. And so right now, I think when you're kind of looking at like Drake May, Jane Daniels, Caleb Williams, like all these guys were going to be the starters. Everybody else, they were trying to kind of figure it out a little bit, and they didn't start preseason as the starting quarterback. So, yeah, they had the opportunity to run with the twos, with the threes, maybe some of them with the ones. I'm trying to remember for maybe a series or so, but you saw Bo Nix incredibly efficient in his first game that was against the Colts, 15 of 17 for 125. JJ McCarthy looked fantastic, I thought, 11 of 17. Then he tore his ACL, but had 2 touchdowns and an interception. But man, his arm looked live. He looked great in that Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell offense. And Michael Penix was already putting people on notice, even though Kirk Cousins was starting the year there in Atlanta, a 9 of 16 for 104 yards. So, and then lastly, Spencer Rattler, 9 of 17, not a very high yards per attempt, but still completed over 50% of his passes nonetheless. And so I think for like a rookie quarterback, honestly, like I think it's a very successful day in your first game action if you're completing over 50% of your passes and not turning the ball over. I think that's very, very important. But I think Shador is going to get quite a lot of time on Friday, or at least that's my expectation. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw somewhere between 15 to 25 passes, somewhere in between there, depending on if he plays into the second half or not. We'll have to see. But I think you're not going to see them like air it out, the Browns, at all, or really a lot of these teams don't just air it out. They'll want to establish the run game, make sure that you're establishing that first before you're starting to break out later on in the preseason to more of those passing concepts. So I think you could see the Browns start off the game like pretty run heavy, or throughout the entire game, trying to establish that run and hopefully see some better progress from that offensive line, which from my understanding was very poor last year. And if you can do that, hey, when Shador's throwing it, he should have more time. He should have a better offensive line in front of him if they're running the ball successfully. And everybody's going to win, including Shador. So I guess I gotta make my little prediction here. What is this stat line gonna be? Okay, I think I'll go with how about this? How about 18 of 23 for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns? That's what I'm thinking. So that might be a little crazy. We'll see if the Panthers are playing much of their ones at all. But if he's going to get like a full half of football, possibly more, I think you're going to see him have the opportunity to really throw the ball around and have some fun. At least that's what I want to see. So, y'all let me know, what are you expecting from Shador this week? I'm so excited that we get to see him play along with Jimmy Horn, and of course, don't forget Travis Hunter, Lejante Wester. Hey, Will Shepherd seems to be making great progress with the Green Bay Packers. People are talking about him as possibly making the roster as a UDFA. So that's wonderful. But I can't wait to watch and see how this all unfolds. Again, if the Browns are going to find their franchise quarterback, they're going to do it in the most Browns way possible. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Go Buffs.